And we are live with another episode of BS Busters. For those of you who are new to joining us, this is a podcast where we talk about video games and general video game news of the week, plus a main topic. And of course, between all of this, some other pop culture stuff will tend to slide in because
it depends on what comes up.
Yeah, if something major comes up that's not video game related, but it's major, we'll talk about it in popular culture sphere of influence. But before we move any further, I would like my two guests to my two co-hosts to introduce themselves. Starting with the lady first.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all ages, thank you for tuning into the BS Busters. I am Julie Lemonstar, and it's about time we get into the show.
All right.
And this is Piggy Dog from Video Game Facts. I am really excited for next week because not only is it going to be my birthday, but also the beginning of EVO.
Oh God, the fighting tournaments.
Yep.
First of all, happy birthday! But I mean, if you enjoy EVO, good for you. I found it to be kind of
bland.
Yeah, boring and bland for the last 15 years.
That's how old EVO is? I thought it was recent.
It could be. Well, I mean, you have to remember, EVO kind of evolved from other tournaments. But then again, I find watching people play video games boring, especially if they're fighting games or sports games. Like, I just don't. It's boring to me.
You haven't seen boredom until you try to watch somebody do RPGs. So don't say that.
No, RPGs, for me, watching someone play an RPG, especially if it's like a Xenoblade or Xenoblade Chronicles X or Xenoblade Chronicles
Those are action
2.
RPGs in a sense.
I mean, even if it's like Chrono Trigger, like if I watch a playthrough of Chrono Trigger, I have no problem, someone doing a platformer, but if I watch people playing a fighting game, I just, my head just glazes, my eyes glaze over, and I'm just like, I mean, on TV. If I actually went, if I'm in a Smash tournament or Soul Calibur tournament or Street Fighter tournament, watching someone play is cool. But if I'm watching someone like on TV or on the internet or something, I'm like, I can't do it. But hey, man, happy birthday!
You got Zero Revolve.
Have fun with it. I hope they
calling you out on that.
What?
That rumor about a Smash character reveal is true.
Come on, man. You know they're not going to do that, but whatever. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. But without much ado, let's get into the news of the week.
Starting with the news that Japan's console market is starting to spike after being a 7-year decline thanks to the Nintendo Switch.
Not surprising. Not surprising.
Sorry, I had to get that out because.
So isn't 7 years when?
It's funny that people say the PlayStation is the most popular or the Xbox is, but it's Nintendo that brings up the market.
Well, I mean, okay, here's the thing. Sony basically. They pretty much, everyone who wants a PS4 has a PS4 in Japan. Like, the people who wanted Wii U's have Wii U's. The people who have 3DS's have 3DS's, right? So, people want new shit to game on. So, what's the new hot thing out there? The Switch. And plus, there's some really good games for the Switch.
Even though it's supposed to be a Wii U in disguise.
Well, it is a Wii U in disguise, but it is a Wii U in disguise. Just a more modern, more sleek Wii U in disguise without the gamepad is the console. But, I mean, more or less, I mean, people want new shit to play on it. Like, you notice the new games for the system have been selling gangbusters?
And multiplats have been seeing the Switch's versions hitting the highest numbers.
Well, for the indie games, And actually,
Mania Plus.
A little bit of a correction. It's not a 7-year decline for the console market in Japan. It's 11-year decline for the console market in Japan.
But isn't 11 years when the Wii U just came out?
No.
I mean,
No.
when the original Wii.
11 years is basically like halfway through the Wii's life cycle. And then you about two, maybe 2.5 years in, then the Wii comes out. I mean, and then the 3DS comes out. And then basically what you saw in Japan is that a lot of people stopped playing on their home console and they went to this 3DS and the Vita. Because just the way Japan is, it's easier to game on the go than it is to go home and sit down in front of a TV, which is why the Switch is such a big thing, because you can play your console style game. Unlike the Vita that was bullshit. Oh, you can play a console style game on the go. They were just really nice portable games. You can legitimately play a console game on the go with your Switch. And for the Japanese market, that's a big deal. For me,
that's a bit of a punch, because why have a console game on the go with the Switch when you got the 3DS?
Well, that's the thing, and that's why I keep on saying, yeah, it's cool that Nintendo is putting, but you notice a lot of the games Nintendo's putting on the Switch are console games. They're console games you can play on the go, which is why I really don't think they're going. I think that they're going to come out with a 3DS successor. I don't think the Switch is their 3DS successor. They're going to make.
I was going to say, the naysayers are crying, yes, it is. I can hear them in the background.
Yeah, I mean, they can say that, but I mean, the Switch is kind of in a higher tier market. The Switch is with taxes three depending on where you are, between $320 and $330. Well, let's say $315 to $330. That is. I mean, that's a premium console price. If you want a PS4 and Xbox One, you're going to spend about that much anyway. If you add in.
And that's before considering the internet costs.
Well, yeah, and if you add in the internet cost, that's another $20, so $350, and then add in a Pro controller, that's for $40-$30. So basically, that's the same price as an Xbox One or PS4, along with
PS4
a controller and all that other stuff. So really, that is not a I just went out and picked up a Switch price. A 3DS you can spend $70 on. You can get a 3DS now brand new for $70.
Depending on your store locations, of course.
And if you're lucky and it's a bundle, you spend like $90 and it comes with a game. So I mean shit. That's something where you go to the store and you're like, oh, $90 3DS, why the hell not? That's almost an impulse buy for some people.
That's close to it. At least
300.
At least you're nearing $200, but
yeah.
But still, that's an impulse buy shot.
Over $300. That is not an impulse buy.
That's a marking the flag dedication. Right?
It's okay, I'm gonna be doing that. So basically, I think Nintendo is gonna come up with a handheld device that's going to be that impulse buy product, to take the place of the 3DS. I don't think the Switch is gonna be that. Plus, the Switch doesn't have the same type of
portability feel.
It doesn't have the same portable capability of the 3DS. Because if you really want to take advantage of all the stuff the Switch has, you kind of need a TV to do it. And it just doesn't really, I mean, I don't know about you, playing a lot of the games just in the handheld mode kind of sucks for me. I prefer to play mine as a home console. So
it's a small screen, and well, there's only so many details you can get when you're looking at it on handheld mode. I
mean, some people enjoy the Switch the way it is, and God bless you, they love the portability. Me, I bought my Switch for the home console portion of it, so I don't give a shit about the portability of it. I have a 3DS for
that. When I got a TV show coming on, then I go portability with it. But otherwise, I'm pretty much keep it in the console.
So there you go.
So that's two people that basically say console over portability.
But back to the main topic. Yeah, Nintendo has dragged the Japanese market back up after a over decade-long decline of
console market sales.
Of console sales going down. Which, I mean, like I said, when Nintendo introduced the 3DS and Sony's Vita started picking up, that's when it started going down, because they could basically play, they could play their games, they could do mobile gaming, they could play on the go. The Switch basically changes that, because it's a home console that's also portable. Like truly portable, not like the Vita with those shitty Vita games that are just PSP ports.
I was going to say, and using Wi-Fi in order to try to transmit what's going on in game to you.
Yeah, no one, yeah.
And otaku pandering snot, such as dating sim games.
I mean, look, listen. If people want to play a game with a fake woman that they romance with gifts and shit like that, that's their business. I mean, they can do whatever the hell they want. They're not hurting anybody because they want to play.
I call those date sims.
Let them play their games. If women can play their male dating sims, then otakus in Japan can play theirs. I'd rather someone play a dating sim than go and murder somebody or harass some poor woman. So I mean, if that makes them happy, let them. But that's neither here nor there. What other topics do you have?
Let's see. Gonna be checking anything from Video Game Facts to see if any news.
I got some news. The authorized Nintendo retailer in China is now offering modding services. Well, they won't be certified to sell Switch stuff for a while.
I was about to say the Nintendo Hammer should have been finding them soon.
Oh, they'll get their ass eventually.
So there's one news article I could talk about a fake Switch piracy tool software that breaks your Switch.
Oh my! Are you these guys idiots?
I mean, what are you gonna get? Like, here's the thing. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh my God, you shouldn't be allowed to pirate your system. Because, I mean, you bought it, you should be allowed to do whatever the hell you want to with it. But on that end, if you're using it for illegal purposes,
your should be shot for that one.
So that you can basically, well, I mean, you shouldn't be shot. I mean,
at least your console.
And your console shouldn't be shot either.
I didn't say how, because breaking the system is basically shooting the system out.
I mean, the way I look at it is like this. Basically, like I have two Wiis, okay? I have a black Wii and I have a white Wii. My white Wii is my original Wii that I got day one when it launched, and I've had it modded so that it can play DVDs. That's my business. I also had it modded so that I can play Brawl Project M. Okay? And that's my business. Right?
Sorry, Project M is not my thing.
Well, I wanted to, because it was it looked different, because basically I finally 100%ed Brawl. And I was like, look, I've done everything I can do with this game. Let's see what Project M's like. And I didn't want to emulate it because fuck emulation. So I got the original. And I mean, it's fun, but here's the thing. It's my system. I can do whatever the hell I want to with it. And plus I own the original game, so there are people who mod. I have a friend who modded his NES. He doesn't have a CRT TV. He's modded all of his old third gen, fourth gen systems to be able to do composite AVI, so that he can use he can put them into his HD TV. So, I mean, you modded your system. That's technically, you pirated it. You did something that's not supposed to be able to do, but shit, that's his business. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Now, if you're using it,
don't today's modern inventions tend to be based around pirating other people's inventions?
It depends on what it is. If it's software, yeah, most software is based on someone else's work. But I mean, my point is this. you know, like as long as you aren't doing illegal shit. Like here's the problem with Switch piracy. The reason people want to pirate it is so that they can essentially, they want to be able, like some people are legitimately, they want to see what it can do. They want to be able to add Netflix and Hulu and all types of homebrew stuff to it. And I have nothing against that. That's cool. But, you know, some people are going to be unscrupulous and use it for nefarious purposes, like, you know, hacking the system so that they can run bootleg games, you know. Although I don't know how you're going to bootleg a Switch when, like, the cartridges are really hard. Like, I don't think anyone's managed to physically pirate pirate the cartridges yet. So, I mean, I don't know.
But what about dynamiting the files to see what cut content?
Yeah, people want to do that. And the thing is, I don't really care if people want to do that. Like, I mean, if they want to do shit like that, let them. I mean, like, I don't think your system should be bricked because you want to do some stuff like that. Like, although to be fair, I mean, you're kind of taking your system in your hands because, you know, these aren't people who are to really be trusted or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. But hey, I could be wrong. What other topics do you have?
Oh yes, from Reset ERA, where one of its members got a chat with Nintendo Treehouse at the San Diego Comic-Con, and they confirmed that yes, the Metroid series is not a system seller.
Well, no. I mean, like no one is getting a system just to play Metroid.
There's some games that are hit titles that everybody will want, and then there's those
the niche
B movies, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, but to be fair, if you have a Nintendo system and a Metroid game comes out, you'll get it. If you're a Nintendo fan, you'll get the Metroid game. Like a lot of fans will get it, but it's not like they're like, you know,
it's not a Fire System seller, right?
Yeah, no one who doesn't have a Switch or a Nintendo system and here's Metroid's coming out is going to get a Nintendo system just for Metroid. So it's not a system seller, but if you already have it, the chances of you, you know, getting a Metroid game goes up.
Uh-huh.
So, all right. So, any other topics? Any other news? Any other news? Pinky? Pinky? Okay, so here's some more news. There's a game coming out from, let me look for this. Oh, PDP is releasing GameCube-inspired wired Smash Pad Pro remotes that have removable, replaceable C-sticks. So
if you want to go with certain game styles, then like trying to go from a D-pad to a stick, then you could go that way, right?
basically, yeah. I mean, that's cool. I mean, if only I cared, but you know, I already have a game. Like I already know that the wired GameCube controller that I have from Smash Brothers Wii U is compatible with
all Smash
with
so
my
far.
Switch. Well, it's compatible with the Switch because people have already tried it. So I don't really need to buy another GameCube controller. And plus, I have another 3 GameCube controllers anyway.
I was gonna say, how many times are they gonna support that controller?
Well, to be fair, I'm just gonna keep it real. The GameCube controller is really good for Smash Brothers. Even all these years, I thought, well, no, it still is a really good controller for Smash Brothers.
True.
The Pro controller is second, but there's just something about that GameCube controller that's good for fighting games, like Soul Calibur. I can't play Soul Calibur without the GameCube controller.
That's the big if or but of this thing. the games that will work with that controller, well,
No, Legend of Zelda worked with it. Soul
there's
Calibur
some,
worked with it.
yeah, but some of those games that you think that would come along with it are not showing up.
Mario worked with it. Sunshine worked with it. I mean, it's a pretty versatile controller. Like the thing is, the only controller that Nintendo had that really the controller really doesn't work with a lot of other games is maybe the N64 controller. But the games that it was made for, like, it doesn't feel right to play those games without a N64 controller. Here's some news. Digimon Survive is coming to the Switch.
That's a surprise considering that's been so long since I heard from them.
Nah,
At least on the Nintendo front.
it's from Namco Bandai, so I don't really care because their games are such trash. By and large,
and the Digimon fan base is gonna find you for that.
I don't care. Come at me, bro. I don't care. Shit. They can get mad all they want to. I do not care. To quote Smokey from Friday, I don't give a fuck.
Surprised you didn't go into song for that one.
Don't care. Don't care. I'm gonna remember that. Write it down. Take a picture. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I like saying that. That is so much fun. So I mean, I don't know. Any other news? Mega Man X Legacy Collection came out. I have it on PC because I got it through Green Man Gaming for like $14.99, so it's cheap. I'm a cheap bastard, so.
Of course. Though, if anything, I was going to ask, how is the Mega Man?
It's a decent port. And that's it. It's just decent. Like the problem with the game is that it's like a straight up port. They didn't optimize anything.
And we all know what happens when people don't do optimization.
And I thought maybe it was just me. Like maybe my PC was, whatever. But it wasn't my PC because I have a relatively powerful PC and it should be able to run Mega Man X quickly. The game is slow. It slows down for no reason because it's unoptimized code. For those of you listening, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, you can leave comments and questions in the feed, and we'll get to those at the end of the
podcast, if possible.
At the end of the podcast, yes. We will get to your questions. Damn it. Lack Laren's PS4. Did Doom sell 1 million on the Switch yet? I don't know. Let me look that up, Lack Laren. Doom Switch sales.
Wouldn't be surprised if half of those are multiplayer.
Sorry guys, I got blue screened.
Yeah, we thought so. Okay, here's how much it sold on the Switch. 80,000 in all regions. So it's not a huge system seller, but I mean, like, it's not really surprising because it's a port of a game that people who really wanted Doom already probably have that game either on PC, PS4, or Xbox One. Like, I mean, that's the problem with Bethesda. That's the problem with porting games to a system, even if it's an audience, because the people who really want to play Doom already have that game. Like people, it's like a casual buy for people, who already have a Switch. So it wasn't gonna sell that well, I don't think. Mike Pence. What?
So Doom for the Switch flopped?
Well, I mean, I don't think it was a flop considering it was this old ass port of a game. But I mean, it probably didn't cost that much to put it.
Well, it's only a year old, so it's not that old.
Yeah, but like the thing is that everyone who wanted that game already got it. Like everyone who was like, I really want Doom, if they have a PS4 or a PC or an Xbox, they already got it. Like,
why go for a Switch version?
Yeah, why would they be hyped up about the Switch version? So my favorite Switch game, this is from Mike Pence. My favorite Switch game is Sexcuter SX Pro. I guess you're trying to make a joke. I don't know. Let's see. Lack Laren's PS4. Mario Odyssey is the worst in the 3D Mario series, probably even worse than Sunshine. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, like, here's the thing. 3D Mario games never have as good as platforming as the 2D games. So you could argue that the platforming in Odyssey isn't that good. And I would have to say, I have to agree, it's not as good as, it's not even, the platforming isn't even as good as 3D World. But 3D World was, like, had really good platforming. So isn't the 3DS slowly dying out and the Switch is dominating over its place? I mean, it's not really dying out. I mean, they're selling more Switches. They sold more Switches last year than they did the year before. Part of that could be because the price has finally gotten down where you can get a Switch for like under 3DS for under $100. So it's like a great stocking stuffer for kids. But the Switches, I mean, like, here's the thing. You've reached market saturation with the 3DS. It's pretty much, like, everyone who, like, pretty much almost everyone who really wanted a 3DS has a 3DS. So now it's just impulse buy. So isn't this the same bitch that said emulation is piracy? I don't know which bitch you're talking about. If you're talking about me, you can go fuck yourself.
I think it's talking about the article I was talking about.
If you're talking about the person, like, emulation isn't piracy. Like you can emulate. Emulation is not illegal. You can emulate something as much as you want. DOSBox is the emulation of the DOS OS so that people can play old DOS games. That's not illegal. However, if pirating games is illegal if you don't own the original software. So, like, I have a massive SNES collection, which I have basically put on an EverDrive and a hard drive, which I backed up because, battery saves back up, and if I lose my cartridge or it dies and I don't feel like replacing it, I still can play that game. But I own the original hardware, so the original software. So I can. That's not piracy. That's me backing up what I had. It's like if you have a CD and you basically rip all the songs and put them on a hard drive or in an iPod or something. Jewel, are you awake?
Jewel?
Yeah.
You were sawing logs there, Jewel.
Sorry, for a moment I thought I was listening so much that I thought I was.
No, you nodded off. It couldn't have been my dulcet tones. Didn't Nintendo ban anyone who likes Project M? No. Jacob Large, why is my pee-pee so hard? I don't know how in the world hearing a man talk could make your pee-pee hard.
Comments.
But hey, if that makes you happy, kind of a little disgusting, but
no comments.
Don't bother with that pony's comments. Whatever. Do you think, this is a real question, do you think Mother 3 will sell if it's localized? Anyone want to jump on that one?
I'll let you guys.
Well, the Mother fans want Mother 3 in the West so badly, then they have to put where their mouth is and hope it reaches like 1 million units.
Well, I'm just gonna say it right now. Even if Mother 3 was localized, I don't think it would sell that well. You want to know why? Because Mother has never had a huge audience. Okay.
It's that niche. I mean, seriously.
The
RPG fans plus plus a small group of fandoms of the game themselves, that's a pretty small number if I think about it.
The only way Mother 3 would sell is if they basically took Mother, the original Mother, Mother 2, aka Earthbound, and Mother 3, put them all into one game. Made them all into one game, and then just basically like remade them all in the same engine, and then said, here's the Mother trilogy. Maybe it would sell because then you get the whole story. But aside from that, like if you just release Mother 3, I don't think it would sell that well. So Jorge Zaldivar says, why not add Mochi from Monster Rancher series to Smash Brothers?
Oh no, not Trusk. That guy's been giving us trouble in video game facts for a while now.
Mochi, I mean, like Mochi would actually be kind of interesting because he kind of sucked as a character. Like, because I mean, here's a little secret you guys might not know about me. I used to love playing Monster Rancher back in the day, even though it's kind of a shitty game because all you do is just create monsters and make them fight and do little like shitty little mini games to raise their stats. Well, to raise their stats. In the first Monster Hunter, you didn't have side quests. You would basically give them training, quote unquote training, to raise their stats. And then in the second and third Monster Hunters, you could like send them out on side quests to get stuff. But the thing is like by the time you raised a monster to the point where they had good enough stats to do side quests, they were too damn old to do anything. Yeah, they were. So you had to retire them. So it's like, what's the point? Like you basically would have to raise a line of monsters for 3 or 4 generations before they got viable. It was just a bitch. The cartoon was kind of cool though. Am I worried about the Switch being cracked? You mean in terms of the hardware thing, where some people's Switches are like warping and bending? I don't really take my Switch out of its dock, so I don't know. Mine is fine though. The few times I have taken it out. In terms of someone pirating it, I mean, I'm not really worried because here's the thing: if you have a successful console, people will hack it. Or I mean, if you have a successful console or anything, people will eventually find a way to jailbreak it or hack it. So, I mean, you know. And here's the thing: while I do own some Nintendo stock, I don't own enough to actually give a shit about, you know, if they're gonna hack it. Weister20 says has another question: is Capcom cheap? Yes, they are. Anytime a company would not, anytime a company won't spring for a 16 gigabyte cartridge for a 15.4 gigabyte game, that's cheap. But this is the same company that back in the day could have totally put all of Final Fight on the SNES, and they wouldn't do it because they were cheap.
Like which I can't get in a sense.
They wanted to use the 4 megabit cartridge and not the 8 or 16 megabit cartridge. And for the SNES, which is just like, because the SNES could handle bigger games. And so it was just like Capcom is cheap. They've always been cheap, but now they really are really, really cheap because they can't afford not to be cheap because they fucked up their business model. Any other questions? Let's see. Mochi does not suck. Yeah, he does. His stats suck unless you breed him for like 3 or 4 gens. And then, I mean, if you keep on doing multi-generationals of Mochi's cool, but as just like a base Mochi sucks. It's crappy.
I'm surprised you know that Monster Hunter, you know who Mochi is and what Monster Rancher is.
Man, I'm a gamer. I play all types of games. I don't just play Nintendo games. Like, I'm gonna tell you the truth. My favorite, let's see, a legit question. Who would I like to see in Smash Brothers Ultimate roster? Elekid, Magby, Pinsir, Heracross, Komomo. I've never heard of.
Yeah, this guy has a really terrible list of characters he wants for Smash.
Priscilla. Let's see. Elekid. Like, the thing is that I think there's too many Pokemon in Smash Brothers. Like, there's just too many Pokemon. Like, I think we have enough Pokemon. Because you have the Pokemon Trainer. That's 3 Pokemon. You have Pichu. That's another Pokemon. You have Clefairy. I mean, not Clefairy.
There's currently 9 Pokemon characters in Smash Ultimate right now.
Yeah, there's just.
And there's currently 8 Mario characters.
Yeah, there's just like we're saturated with Pokemon characters, and if you add if you consider Donkey Kong technically a Mario character as well, that's like even more Mario characters. So that's just too much. It's too much.
That's fair.
There's too many Mario and Pokemon characters, and I know Pokemon is really popular, but damn, come on, man.
Zelda and Fire Emblem are about equal of 6 characters.
I'm tired of Fire Emblem. I'm burnt out on Fire Emblem. Personally, I would like to see add more Wario characters. Add Kat and Anna. Like make them into kind of a
There's already rumor that Ashley is going to be playable, and also Wario is considered a Mario character as well. So
yeah, so that's even more. I would say add Kat and Anna from WarioWare and make them into dual characters, kind of like the Ice Climbers, because they're 2 ninja sisters. That'd be cool. Let's see. Am I a Gundam fan? Red. No, I'm not a Gundam fan. Not because Gundam sucks, but because Gundam is just too like the problem with Gundam is that like there's like 15, 16, 17 Gundam series, and like 10 of them are basically the same story told over and over and over again. And I can't deal with that. Like I don't want to watch something that's basically just the same shit over and over again, just slightly different. Let's see. Valkyrie Legends. Valkyrie from Legend of Valkyria for Smash. I wouldn't want Valkyrie. How about Vise from Skies of Arcadia? That's a Sega character I'd like to see, and he's a sword user. Why did they not make Bomberman a playable character? I would like to see Bomberman in Smash Brothers. That'd be cool. If they can put
probably because they're saving that slot for Simon Belmont.
If they can do Mega Man, they can do Bomberman because basically they're very similar. In terms of body type. Okay then. So let's get to the rest of the thing. Jewel, wake up.
Jewel.
Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed.
Wake up.
Wake up. Said wake up. Teddy, I can't do Teddy Pendergrass, but anyway. So any other news you guys wanna knock on before we keep it moving to the next?
Oh yes, this one. Let's see, Burjaban, the guy who leaked Ridley, Ice Climbers, Snake, and the Smash 4 roster being in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. He made a new rumor recently, like yesterday, saying that Isabelle from Animal Crossing will be playable alongside with Simon Belmont.
That'd be cool. Isabelle will probably be an alt for
an Echo Fighter. He's unsure whether or not Isabelle will be a unique newcomer or an Echo Fighter for Villager.
She'll probably be an Echo Fighter for Villager. Because, what is she going to do that's going to be vastly different from the Villager? Although she won't look as psychotic as the Villager. So, that's already
And of course, I've seen people who are against the idea of Isabelle in Smash because they think it's out of character. And they don't like the idea of seeing her getting killed by Ridley.
Yeah, but no one's killed in Smash Brothers. They're just knocked off the stage. Like no one's viciously murdered. Although I have to say, in Smash Brothers, when they were launching Smash Brothers Wii U, and they had those little animated vignettes to introduce new characters, when they had Captain Falcon beating the shit out of Lucina in front of her daddy, I was like, that's just mean. That's just kind of a dick move, Captain Falcon. I thought you were a good guy.
Ooh.
Well, he's a bounty hunter, which means he's neither good nor evil.
Yeah, I think he leans more on evil, considering that he did a Falcon punch so hard it blew up a planet. All the innocent people, just some random guy, just a random janitor got blown the hell up because of Captain Falcon, his need to punch Black, forget the guy's name, Black Galaxy or whatever his name was.
Black Shadow.
Yeah, Black Shadow. You want to bring up any news, Jewel?
I don't really got any.
No news? Okay then. So
At least
I guess
not At least not that I would want to bring up here, since it's about card games.
The arcade game Legend of Valkyrie. Yeah, Valkyrie would be cool. You mean the Namco Bandai Valkyrie game that was only on the PC Engine? I have a rule for characters being in
certain game franchises.
No, for characters to be in Smash Brothers, they have to have been on a Nintendo system in their inception. So they can't be like someone who's like, they can't be someone who was in like Namco cross Bandai cross Sega. I know Valkyrie was in there, but because she didn't start on a Nintendo system, she started on the PC Engine. So the home version. I know there was an arcade game that was then ported to the PC Engine, but it was never on a Nintendo system until like that crossover game.
So is that also why you don't consider Cosmos either? Despite the appearance in Xenoblade 2?
Yeah, but to the 3D, I think the DS or the 3DS, those games were ported to the 3DS, or the DS. So, I mean, that way you kind of get a little thing. Like, I mean, that's why I said Vise from Skies of Arcadia, because that was ported to the GameCube. So let's see, what else? Yeah, but that wasn't the same character.
Ooh, a trailer for season 2 of the Castlevania Netflix series is out.
Yeah, and if it's as shitty as that first one, then no thanks. So let's hit the
main.
Yeah, let's hit the main topic. So basically, we're each going to name a few franchises that are really, really popular, that people love, that you're like, I hate this game.
I'll go first. Pretty much EA Sports.
Like all of their games?
Yeah.
Everything. Like all their sports games.
Because I really don't see the point of playing real sports games in video game form when you can just play the real sport itself, unless you're physically handicapped. But even then, not all handicapped people can play video games, such as blind people.
Yeah, but they could do something. I mean, I've seen blind people play basketball and be good at it. So, you can't just make the assumption that because someone's handicapped they can't play. I mean, have you ever seen one of those wheelchair basketball games? Those people are good. You think, man, they ain't got no legs, I could take them. Shit. Do you have any other games that you feel, Pinky, are kind of overrated?
Not just the usual sports games. Not just the usual sports games that are more grounded than the unrealistic ones, like those old NBA Jam games.
Oh man, taking me back to the good old days. Okay, Jewel, your turn.
Okay, I was thinking about this, but here goes. For anybody that's playing Yu-Gi-Oh, the speed duels are coming soon to the game, which is supposed to have its very own card setup and have its own play format too. And it starts this November with a three deck of 20 cards featuring Yugi and Maximilian.
So the first season.
Yeah, in a sense.
Though
they come up with a second set of 3 coming out soon, featuring Phil Kaiba, Joey Wheeler, and My Valentine.
I don't know.
Anything on Bakura?
And nothing on that one. But otherwise, that's it from me, at least. But if anybody wanted to see what's going on with Yu-Gi-Oh, It's probably coming soon, so be ready.
If only I hadn't abandoned the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, the physical card game.
That's
It
the
just kept,
funny thing that they set up the speed duels where it's three, where you got 3 monster slots, 3 magic slots, and the regular stuff. And the deck size is shrunk to 20, and life points shrunk down some too.
I abandoned the card game, like the physical card game, but I still, ironically, every once in a while I'll pull out my 3D my Game Boy Advance Yu-Gi-Oh games and play those, which
DS
I
ones
enjoy.
are a lot more a lot more my speed. So
Yeah, but it is what it is. So I guess it's my turn. The franchise that I think is overrated as hell, gaming franchise that's overrated as hell and just really needs. These are 2 games from Bethesda that I feel are franchises that are overrated. Like, they used to be good, they're not anymore. Elder Scrolls and Fallout.
ooh,
Yeah. I think especially specifically Skyrim and Elder Scrolls and Fallout 4. Those 2 games are so overrated, it's not even funny. They're not good. They're, frankly speaking, boring.
But it meets your criteria about playing whatever story you want, like becoming a vigilante or.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Fallout 4 doesn't really have that. Like Fallout 3.
I was actually talking about Skyrim.
Well, Skyrim doesn't really have that either. Like, Skyrim has a more interesting open world than Fallout 4, but they both are kind of like they're interesting. They have an interesting open world to play around in, but like, you're still kind of forced to play this story, right? You're still forced to be the Dragonborn. You're forced to be in Fallout 4, you're forced to be this guy trying to find his son, or this woman trying to find her son. Like, either way, you're trying to find your child. There's no real room to role play. Like, in previous installments of Elder Scrolls, you could do a lot of stuff. And in previous installments of Fallout, before Bethesda bought it, you had a more open-ended story. Yeah, you had an end goal, but your actions really changed the world, like how things would play out. Like, I mean, I knew Fallout 4 was fucked up from the first 20 minutes of the game, where they give you power armor in the first 20 minutes of the game. Like, literally, power armor in previous Fallouts was something that you earned. Like by the time, like, you really had to put in the time to get that shit. So when you got it, it meant something. And frankly speaking, I think these 2 games, I think Bethesda's an overrated studio. I think their games aren't as good as people think. And like, the quality of their games has been getting worse over the years. And I think it's, I mean, people are like, yeah, I love this. And I know people are going to say, but how can you say this? You've put over 350 hours into Skyrim. Yes, I have, and that's why I can say this. I put so much time into this game that I've seen the cracks. I've measured the teeth. This horse is not only old, it's dead. And Fallout 4 is the first Fallout that I have no joy in playing. Like, there's no fun in playing that game. So, yeah, those are the games. Let's get to some more of these questions. Let's see.
I was about to say, I probably was skipped over for being so slow on this, for not mentioning the games that the series or game series that I think is overrated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's my fault. And personally, I'm gonna likely get hit for this. Shin Megami Tensei or Persona series. That's what I think is overrated, because everybody keeps saying that it's the RPG of RPGs.
I think you mean Persona, because Shin Megami Tensei hasn't really had a lot of exposure in the West.
I understand. Well, I understand your feeling, Joel, because I did had an argument with one of our former friends who was a major Persona / Shin Megami Tensei fan who uses it to belittle the Pokemon franchise.
I mean, they are kind of similar to each other because in both games you're catching monsters, except
I was about to say, really,
you don't have to.
It doesn't look like you're really capturing monsters on there. You're just being lucky enough to befriend them at times.
Yeah, but I mean, in that way, Pokemon is a bit worse because you're enslaving Pokemon. But I mean, in both of them, you're kind of like you're catching monsters. You're kind of like trying to figure out like what they like, and they level up and stuff. Although the monsters are a little bit cooler in my opinion because they have more than just 4 fucking attacks in Persona. Just to me, that's a little bit cool. But there's still a type matchup, and certain types are stronger against other types. Their weaknesses and strengths and natures. I mean, they have a lot of similarities. It's just Shin Megami Tensei is a lot darker, like a lot darker, like.
Yeah, but
Black.
remember, if anything, remember the phrase "ow, the edge."
I don't get it.
Thank you.
It's basically how we poke fun of edgy characters or edgy franchises.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, you kind of poke at that when they're trying to go after demographics. Shin Megami Tensei's always been a very dark, kind of mature, because it deals with religion and sexuality and.
Yeah, but there have been Pokemon fans who've been wanting to make the franchise be as dark and edgy as the Shin Megami Tensei.
No. Like the vast majority of the audience for Pokemon like Pokemon because it's kind of got a bullshit ass story with, I mean, if you're playing a Pokemon game for the story, I don't know what to say to you, but
unless you're in Generation 5, but that's a stretch.
Even then, yeah, it's a stretch. Like Pokemon is not there to make you think hard or figure anything out. It's basically fun. It's just supposed to be a okay. Pokemon is like you go and you eat a greasy ass cheeseburger from a greasy spoon restaurant. It's not good for you, but sometimes it's damn sure comforting. Okay, Shin Megami Tensei is a deep fried steak with herb mayo butter slathered on top of it with steak sauce and shit and pommes frites on the side. Sprinkled with malt vinegar, and just so that you don't feel like you're bad, a nice green salad. Neither of these are good for you. One is a little bit more substantial than the other. One is a little bit more substantial. That was just
funny that I realized what you're saying.
One is a little bit more substantial than the other, but they're both not because the steak's been deep fried. So clearly, that's
That's even worse.
But every once in a while, you just want something that's every once in a while, like, okay, like I'm not saying you should eat fried food every week or, every 2 weeks, but every once in a while, once every 2 or 3 months, you want to have a deep fried, whatever, knock yourself out. Just don't eat that all the time. And that's, like Shin Megami Tensei in terms of gameplay mechanics has a lot of similarities with Pokemon in terms of the monster collection thing going on. Although Pokemon, like I said, for me, like Pokemon's a little too simplistic. If you find Pokemon a little too simplistic, but you want a similar experience, I would say graduate from that to Dragon Quest Monsters because you get the Pokemon experience, but the monsters have a little bit more.
That's the thing. I haven't heard from those in ages.
Well, they came out. No one bought them. No. Enix didn't localize them here in America. So they did the 3 Joker games, like Joker 1, Joker 2, Joker 3 for the 3DS, for the DS and the 3DS. I have all 3 of them. I love the games. And they're deeper than Pokemon. Like they are like, because you can equip your monsters with weapons. They become more powerful. The downside is that when you breed a monster, the 2 monsters you use to breed the new monster,
retire for good.
They go back into the wild, which I'm like, fuck.
I was putting it lightly, buddy, so you just put it into a worse term than I did.
Well, because I mean, if you level up a monster to a high enough level, and you're like, man, this monster is really badass, and the other monster is really badass, and you breed them together, yeah, the kid's gonna have the attributes of both monsters and be even more badass. But it starts at level 1, so you gotta level it up and all that stuff. It's just, I mean, it's kind of the one flaw. Like, if they were gonna make another one and release it in the West, I would change that. Like, make it a little bit more like Pokemon, where they breed. Maybe like after they breed, like you can't put them in the battle for a little bit because they just bred. That takes a lot out of them. But don't send my monsters away. Not after I raised this bastard up to level 30 and made it into a super healer and magic user and just send it off. Now I gotta breed another. Now I gotta raise another one. That's why you always catch 2 or 3 monsters at a time of the same type.
That's what makes Pokemon a little bit better in a sense that you at least don't lose your monsters, and you actually can work, and you can actually level up your level 1 monsters with your other high level monsters.
Yeah, that is. Well, you can do that in Dragon Quest monsters.
Or you can save time by using Pokegen to get the Pokemon, the IV/EV trained Pokemon you want with all the egg moves.
Flip you.
Yeah, that's too much. But I mean, you can level up low level monsters and Dragon Quest monsters with other things. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get some of these questions and then we can wrap things up. Yeah, we're moving kind of quick. This is BS Busters. Ooh, Lord. Okay.
It's almost an hour. That's what I was thinking.
Okay, so have I ever played the SNES game Sparkster or even heard of it? Yes, I have.
I've heard of it.
I've played the one. I played the Rocket Knight Adventures on Sega, and I played Sparkster, the Rocket Knight on SNES. They're both really good games. Why not make him a playable character? I would love for that to happen. I'm sure Nintendo would love it too, but you got to talk to Konami because they're idiots.
I was going to say, Konami? I thought Sega had them last time I heard.
Not to mention that Simon Belmont is highly prioritized since now that Bomberman's an assist trophy.
No, Sparkster is... Sparkster's owned by Konami. That's their IP.
That's what I mean. I mean, because he's a Konami character, he's got to have serious competition with Simon Belmont, who is a lot more popular and recognizable than Sparkster.
I mean, personally, like I said, listen, I want them all. I would love to have Sparkster there too. I don't care. Although personally, I would really like to see over Sparkster Earthworm Jim. Yu-Gi-Oh is overrated as fuck and needs to end. The same goes for Dragon Ball. Too many games.
I would replace Dragon Ball with Magic the Gathering.
Here's what I'll say about Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh isn't overrated. It's just kind of like
it's over complex because let's see, the newest thing that they added before the news I mentioned was Link summoning, and oh god, it gets complicated because it involves positioning.
Oh yeah, I recently seen this video that I wanted to share Jewel for some time about breaking a card game with some kind of cheap strategy.
Hold on. Does it involve Hearthstone?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta see that later soon, because I've been looking things up a little.
And the video also used Yu-Gi-Oh as a beginning example.
Well, I mean, the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh is that I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh is overrated because it's not as ubiquitous as it was back in the day.
It's gotten so complex that they had to form the speed duel system.
They had to simplify, yeah. The problem with the Yu-Gi-Oh is just that when the cartoon came out, the anime, like people would it suffered the same problem that Pokemon did, except I'll give Yu-Gi-Oh this much credit. You could actually learn legit dueling strategies by watching the cartoon at the time.
I'm sorry, but this is what I'm going to call bullshit, because here's the thing. The Yu-Gi-Oh game has evolved into summon barf, summon barf, summon barf, summon barf.
Can I finish before you cut me off?
I'm sorry, but
I was about to get to your argument before you cut me off. At the time when Yu-Gi-Oh was less complex, it had legitimate strategies. Problem is that Yu-Gi-Oh has become more complex since then, and those strategies, by and large, are pretty much useless because they've added new cards, new abilities, all that type of stuff.
But aren't you for complexity in your game?
Well, typically speaking, I am. But if you're trying to get new people into something, it's kind of daunting for it to be that complex at the start. That's why I'm saying that Yu-Gi-Oh kind of now is a little, because Yu-Gi-Oh when it first came out wasn't as complex as it is now. Now it's become so complex that you don't have the large. Because I remember even when Yu-Gi-Oh came out, I would go to lunch in high school and everyone would be playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Like you'd have tables of people playing Yu-Gi-Oh. And I've gone to other places, like I've gone to cons where people would do Yu-Gi-Oh. You don't see that anymore. At least I don't. Like, so I mean,
here's the thing. I think it really got that bad when Synchro Summoning came in, or people that keep up with the animation to help them learn how to duel. That would be Arc V. That would be Arc V.
Yeah, it basically the more weird shit they added in order to make it, the more shit that they added in order to the more complexity they added, like making something more complex and bringing your audience with it and then expanding it is cool. They didn't do that because, like, at a certain point with Yu-Gi-Oh, I just stopped playing. I'm like, this is too much, and I did something else. So, I mean, they kind of messed up on that one. Dragon Ball, too many games. I gotta disagree. There are too many fighting games for Dragon Ball Z. I would love to see another
RPG or card game of it.
RPG or the card game. Well, not so much the card games, but the RPGs. I like the Monolith Soft Legend of the Super Saiyans games, and you know,
what about a Dragon Ball platformer game?
Yeah, like that Dragon Ball platformer game that went through like the first two sagas. It went through the original saga with the Red Ribbon Army, and then the second saga with King Piccolo. That was a really awesome platform game for the Game Boy Advance. It's surprisingly deep. I mean, it's not that there's too many damn fighting games. It's like, why is every fucking Naruto game a fighting game? I mean, there's other shit in Naruto than just fighting, even though the fights are really cool.
Well, there is an MMO RPG of Naruto, but that is unofficial.
That's like in China, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then it doesn't count because it's not here.
And I've seen YouTubers advertising that game.
Did I mention that the Legend of Valkyrie series also has a Super Famicom title, translated Sandra's Great Adventure? It might have a Super Famicom title, but there's a lot of shit that stayed in Japan that's nowhere else. Like, I would love to have Captain Rainbow, but that shit ain't happening either. Let's see. A weird Smash choice, Frogger. Frogger would be interesting, but
he's as iconic as Pac-Man, but there's really not that many moveset potential for him to work with.
Well, the thing is that, I mean, Frogger isn't as iconic as Pac-Man because, like, normally when people ask you who are the old school gaming icons, Frogger doesn't even come up. They say Pitfall Harry, Pac-Man,
Space Invaders, Donkey Kong,
Mario, not Donkey Kong, Mario from Donkey Kong. Like, those are iconic. Frogger doesn't even come in the list unless you really dig deep. Hell, the Pong Dot is more iconic than Frogger.
What about Centipede? Is that more iconic than Frogger as well?
Well, Centipede wasn't the main character in Centipede. The kid who was using the wand to fight his friends was the main character, but no one remembers his name. I think it was like Dave or Gary or some shit like that. Why not throw Klonoa in Smash Brothers? Klonoa would be cool, but I'd rather have, if you're going to add a Namco Bandai character, I would rather have one of the Tails characters. And the only Tails character who's badass enough to be in Smash Brothers is Lloyd Irving.
the two swordsmen.
And he got himself a Mii costume in the last Smash game.
Yeah, I would just like to see Lloyd Irving.
I was going to say, what about the fighter that doesn't use his hands but his feet because he's so strong?
Regal Bryant, who will not use his hands. But when he finally does use his hands, he unleashes a Kamehameha wave, which is badass. Let's see. Want to know what would make an ambitious crossover? Namco's Tails and Nintendo's Fire Emblem. How would I make it? I would do what they did with Mirage Sessions. where instead of making it like it into a traditional
slapping two franchises together and call it a day, just use original characters.
Well,
right?
what I would do is I would basically make a Tale style game, but I would include Fire Emblem type characters as well. So like you'd have a world that's like kind of got Tale stuff in it and Fire Emblem stuff in it, but it's still original. And I would have you basically play as, you know, either one. That'd be cool. Do you think Square should just stop on the Final Fantasy VII remake and remake another title in the franchise? I don't think this is from Weister20. I don't think they should. I don't think they should ever. I don't think they should remake Final Fantasy VII. I don't think they should remake any of the Final Fantasies, because those games are kind of like iconic.
But they've remade Final Fantasy 1 and 2 dozens and dozens of times.
Yeah, but Final Fantasy 1 and 2 don't have the same level.
They're simple.
They don't have the same, like, okay, those games when they came out were on the NES. You could do a lot of stuff to change that. There's nothing that they can do to Final Fantasy VII that's gonna please the people that grew up on Final Fantasy VII. Like, there's nothing they can do. Like, really, they should have never even opened that door. Okay.
Oh, they did when they tried to use it as a tech demo.
But do I think that they should remake another title? I don't think they should. Okay, I think that they should take the people who made Octopath Traveler. This will segue into our next topic. The people that make Octopath Traveler and just tell them, make old school games like that. We'll give you a small budget, make games like that. Instead of just remaking old shit. Because the thing is like they're gonna like if Square Enix keeps on remaking old shit, they're gonna be like Capcom, to where they can't make new stuff. So, you know, Jorge Zaldivar, now do you believe me that Legend of Valkyrie? Listen, man, I am not entirely sure. I know that there's a Legend of Valkyrie game on the PC Engine. I have not looked it up being on the Famicom or Super Famicom. I will look it up. You could be right, but the thing is that it stayed in Japan, and there's a lot of really awesome games that stayed on a Nintendo system that like never came here, so it's like it never came here.
Get used to him, Mr. Red Fox. He'll always be this way. So, moving on to the next question.
So, let's see. Sorry. Sorry, Legend of Valkyrie. Sorry, I
got sidetracked.
No, I'm gonna Legend of Valkyrie systems. Valkyrie no Densetsu. All right, so here are the systems that it was on. Arcade, PC Engine, mobile phone. Okay, it was never on the SNES. It was on the Wii Virtual Console via the Virtual Console. It was never on the SNES. So stop saying that. So once again, so yeah, like I said, I don't really care. Mother 3 was Japan only, and yet Lucas came worldwide in Brawl. Yeah, but that's Nintendo shit. They can do whatever they want to on their shit. Other people's shit.
Also, also worth mentioning that Sakurai just said that had he known that Mother 3 would not be ported onto the West, he wouldn't have added Lucas in the beginning.
Yeah, because no one, like, now they're kind of stuck. Now people are always like, man, I want it out there. Mother 3, so yeah, but there was Valkyrie no Boken for the NES. That's not the same game. That's a completely different game. That's not Legend of Valkyrie. Like the Valkyrie that you're talking about, the game that has the Valkyrie who can get really big, like that's one of her power-ups and attack enemies. That game was only on the PC Engine in the arcade. It never came to the SNES. There's another game called Valkyrie no Boken, but that's not the same game. Let's see. Are there any other bad fan bases out there? Halo fans. And Sony fans, they're pretty bad.
Ooh.
Notice they didn't say Xbox fans because they abandoned ship as soon as the Xbox One bombed. They're like, fuck this.
I was about to say, I saw those lifeboats already afloat.
But
let's see, I'm trying to think of another obscure vocal fan base.
I don't know. But anyway, while you do that, I'll get to the other topic. The fun topic.
Oh yes, the Animal Crossing fan base. They're starting to become more vocal as no new mainline Animal Crossing title.
Oh no, there's that shitty mobile game.
They're asking for a console Animal Crossing game.
That'd be cool. Personally, I would rather Nintendo take their time, and when they launch their new handheld, just put it out for that. Like, make it one of the launch titles. Like make like a 2D Mario game, like 2D platformer Mario game. Release that. Maybe a 3D top-down Zelda, kind of like Link Between Worlds and Animal Crossing. Like, just do like those 3 games as launch games, and maybe like with a handful of like third-party titles, and boom, there you go. That'll get it off. Because the Animal Crossing folks, I mean, I'm not one of them. Even though I like Animal Crossing, I don't like every Animal Crossing game. Like, my favorite's still the GameCube one. Like, I hacked that one so that I could get all the NES games, even the ones that were hidden in the code in Japan only. So basically what I'm saying is that, I mean, you know, they've been supporting that IP. They've been growing it. They want one. Nintendo, if they're smart, they'll give it to them. But anyway, on to the other topic. Octopath Traveler, I've almost beaten that game. I put almost over 70 hours into it. So, any questions anyone might have about the game before I go into this topic?
Yeah, how many characters do you have left to finish?
I finished all the characters.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I did all 8.
So that means you finally unlocked the final dungeon then.
I have unlocked the final dungeon. You have to do like 2 side quests, and then you unlock the extra dungeon. And the extra dungeon is a bitch. Because it's not really a dungeon. It's a fight through 8 enemies, and then the 9th enemy has a 2-stage battle where you have to split your party of 8 into 4. So one group of 4 and another group of 4, and then you have to fight, and it's a son of a bitch. But never heard of Octopath Traveler?
Isn't it?
It's been selling out like gangbusters, dude.
Just
like, wait, is this the same guy who's asking for Valkyrie for Smash?
Yeah, he keeps on saying Valkyrie, and he's like, he was on the NES and the SNES. There's a game called Valkyrie, but that game.
I've never heard of Octopath Traveler.
I mean, the game. I mean, there haven't been a lot of commercials for it, but the game's been selling gangbusters, so someone wanted it.
So the fact that it's selling gangbusters kind of proves that you don't need a boatload of commercials and advertisements from public areas such as subway areas or buildings in order for it to make it sell. Right?
How can I put this? No, the reason it's selling isn't because of the lack of whatever.
Lack of advertising.
The lack of advertising. The game is selling because it's fucking good. And it's like, here's the thing. Because of Square Enix's dumbass decision to abandon the Nintendo market, so that they could, just totally ride Sony's dick, for lack of a better term. Basically, what that they abandoned an entire market that had been groomed to be fans of Square Enix. So now they're like in a position where they just like that's come back because Nintendo fans really want quality RPGs. They really want those games.
And yet people are running away from Nintendo when it comes to RPG ideas.
Yeah, and yet Square Enix went out of their way to abandon Nintendo and just go all in on the PlayStation. And the thing is like, really, if you're smart, you want your shit on everything and not just one thing. But it's Square Enix, and they are not smart.
And the worst of it is that even the rumors of Nintendo saying they'll come back then are also false, meaning that Square Enix has an open door to come in.
I think the truth is somewhere in between, to tell you the truth. I do, because we're talking about Hiroshi Yamauchi. That man
Vicious
was tough as nails. Okay, that man would crush your balls and then throw them down a flight of stairs and then run them over. I really do think that you mess with Yamauchi at your own peril. Do I think that they had some sour grapes because with Square Enix leaving them? Yeah, I think there were some sour grapes. I mean, you have to remember in Japan, if you want to win Japan, you have to have RPGs.
And back then, thanks to unethical business practices, Sony was able to obtain a lot of RPGs.
I mean, even now, it's about the RPGs, right? If the RPGs aren't on point, everything else just kind of,
falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
In Japan, if you don't have RPGs, it's all gonna it ain't gonna be right. That's to be said. But yeah, Octopath Traveler is a huge game. I love it. I have basically been doing a lot of side quests and kicking people's asses because that's what you do in RPGs.
Well, I recently got the thief on my team, so
yeah, Therion is really useful. He's not my favorite character, but he gets the job done. But
sass.
But that being said, here's some things they need to change in the sequel. God damn it. If you play Octopath Traveler, there are 6 different weapon types. There's the sword, the dagger, the axe, the bow, the lance, and magic.
And magic is in its own categories.
Yeah, but generally speaking, that's it. I think they should add 2 more since it's called Octopath Traveler, which means 8. There should be 2 more. Here's the 2 more I think they should add. You should have guns, and you should have fisticuffs, aka martial arts.
I would have made it gauntlets to be easier.
Yeah, but then you're still using a weapon. Like, I think that fisticuffs, just using your bare hand, should be its own.
Yeah, but some RPGs consider having something on your fist as at least a decent weapon to compensate for not being armed with something that would really be a weapon.
Yeah, it becomes a Tekken, but that's why I'm like, okay, why don't you just have it be barehanded so then you're literally unarmed? But that gives you an edge on certain things. Like, let's say when you're unarmed, you essentially become, okay, I'm unarmed, I can use if you're unarmed, you can catch weapons in your bare hands once you've gotten a certain level of mastery.
Mastered.
you can counterattack enemies. You can, you can use an implosion fist, which lets you do Hokuto no Ken stuff like, a heavily armored enemy. You can hit them and it just goes into their body and messes them up.
You're making me think of Ayla when you're saying stuff like that.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, so basically, you have a fighting style that complements a lot of different things. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that. I'm just thinking that wouldn't having a glove be considered the same thing?
Well, I mean, the whole point of being unarmed is that you don't have any equipment in your hands, including on your hands. That's why it's
that was the 22 I was thinking of.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter because in Octopath Traveler, depending on your class, you can equip a lot of different weapons. Maybe you could have it be unhand and then Eastern weapon, so it's like, So Jorge Zaldivar has another question. No, Weister, were people port begging for OT? I don't think people are port begging for OT. I think that what you're gonna see in Octopath Traveler is Square Enix is probably gonna port it over to PC, Xbox One, PS4, and it's gonna bomb spectacularly. Because it's Square Enix and they never learn their lesson, as anyone can tell you.
Sadly.
We will never learn our lesson. We will continue to fuck up until the end of time. Because that is what we do. We are Square Enix.
Here's hoping it doesn't get them bankrupt before they learn their lesson.
Yeah. Let's see. Weiser has another question. What can Final Fantasy team learn from Octopath Traveler? They can learn that you don't need the prettiest graphics in order to make a good game. All you need is a good, solid game. It's like they don't know. They think, oh man, look at these graphics. I've never played an RPG and said to myself, oh man, the graphics. Like the first thing that comes to my mind with an RPG is the story, the gameplay mechanics, the side quests, the character personalities, like interesting hooks, that type of thing. So I hope they learn that you don't need the best graphics in the world in order to make a good game. Like I don't know when Final Fantasy became needed to be this graphical powerhouse, because Final Fantasy really didn't look that good on the Final Fantasy VII is not the best looking Final Fantasy game. It really isn't. So I don't know why everything has to be pretty and gorgeous and shit. Because I mean it's Final. What?
I mean, Final Fantasy VII looked good at its time.
No, it didn't.
but it's awfully outdated.
No, that game did not look good at the time. We accepted it because that was the best technology they had for the time, but it was not good.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's the PS1, and the PS1 never had really good graphics in that goddamn way. People forget that. They make the mistake of thinking that the PS1 was.
It was at least working well at its time, at least. But even I can admit that the graphics for its time were not the best, but they worked pretty well.
Yeah, the PS1, if you look at even if you look at multiplats of the time, multiplats, the PS1 versus the
64.
If you looked at a multiplat between the PS4 and the Xbox One and the Saturn, generally speaking, the PS1 would be the ugliest version of that game. So, and Final Fantasy VII was not a good looking game. I'm sorry. I know some people are gonna get mad. How dare you, sir? Look, PS1 is all a lot of games on that system are overrated. Like I said, Final Fantasy VII is not that good. I don't know why people have this love affair with that game. It's not that good. Calm the fuck down.
The battle system I enjoyed a lot, but
yeah, but it's the same battle system they had for years. It's the same shit they had with Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VI.
The materia system was
it's the same thing.
Yeah,
basically.
But I was going to say that that was the last time that was that good, since 8 really jarred things over.
Yeah, but I mean, literally, it's really hard for me to really be impressed by something that I had been playing for years and years and years. Like, the people I hear that are like, "Oh my god, this is like the best Final Fantasy ever." And
I know you're getting that, and I'm saying that the battle system for me was a real joy, and I had fun with it until Final Fantasy VIII came along and, well, put that into a train wreck.
Yeah, but anyway, that's my thing. That's my favorite Final Fantasy. Like, I really like Final Fantasy. Like Final Fantasy VII, I think needed to be left alone. Because I mean, they just kept on trying to make it like we can just leave it alone.
They made its own series at this point.
But that's just me. But that's neither here nor there. We have some other questions. Why not convince Square Enix to work with Nintendo to create a Final Fantasy-esque Earthbound game, a reimagining of the entire franchise where Ness and Lucas can interact with each other? I mean, that sounds really cool, but I personally...
They can't, because Toy just said that the Mother franchise is finished, and Nintendo wants to respect his decision by not making any more Mother games.
That sounds like that would be cool, but at the end of the day, I don't want... this is my own personal opinion. I know some people might not like it, but I don't really care. I don't want... I want Earthbound to be its own thing. I would rather, if Square Enix and Nintendo are going to work together on a game, I would rather them work on a new IP than take some old shit and bring it up. Unless they want to make a Super Mario RPG 2, the return of Gino, Malo, and just Gino and Malo, those new kids. Fuck Smitty. Smitty can go to hell, but the rest of them were really cool. So, but that's just me. That's my own personal opinion. I know some people are going to get mad because, people always get mad when you say something they don't like. But that's my own personal thing where I'm just like, okay. If there was a Tekken character in Smash Brothers roster, who would it be? I don't know.
The most popular choice is Heihachi, because he was originally planned to be in the last Smash game, but he got scrapped in favor of Pac-Man because they had trouble implementing his moveset onto.
I'm gonna keep it real. I would rather have Yoshimitsu in I would rather have Yoshimitsu in Smash Brothers over Heihachi, just because Heihachi is so
overused.
Yeah, and he was in Soul Calibur. He really shouldn't have been there anyway. Let's see.
Well, they did kill him off in the latest Tekken game, since his voice.
And how long is that going to stick? I mean, seriously. So we have another one. Let's hope they learn their lesson after they release Kingdom Hearts 3. They probably won't, because it's Square Enix, and Square Enix is like they're like the Rockefeller Records Can't Stop Won't Stop song. They can't stop, won't stop. They can't stop, won't stop fucking up. They can't do it. Like, these are the people who will release a game. They will release a JRPG on the Xbox One. The Xbox One's where JRPGs go to die. Like, if you have a JRPG and it's on the Xbox One, that shit is just never gonna do anything because it's on the Xbox One. But anything else you guys want to bring up before we wrap things up in the next 2 minutes of the podcast?
Oh yeah, there is one thing I should talk about. Let's see. In regards to the Pokemon artist Ken Sugimori, he talks about balancing design for Pokemon, where he tries to make sure that the Pokemon he designs aren't too cool or too cute, that they each have its own flaw, so that they, for balance reasons.
Oh God, that's a tricky thing for anyone.
Well, that makes sense because that's why a lot of the Pokemon like earlier gens would look like you look at like they look kind of derpy in the beginning, and then over time they'd eventually become something badass. So that makes sense. So ever since they revealed Adeline for Kirby Star Allies, how would you feel about her joining the Smash roster? I don't really care.
Well, I did get to try her out in Kirby Star Allies, and yes, I am interested in seeing her in Smash, though not before Marks or Bandanity.
I mean, I'll keep it
more prioritized.
I'll keep it real. I'm not really like, when it comes to Smash Brothers, I really don't like, I'm not like, oh my God, this character has to be here, that character has to be there. I just, like, for me, I think like another Kirby character would be appropriate, but I think they should have Marks or Humanoid Nightmare before they get Adeline. Sorry. But
because the more important characters are highly prioritized over the more obscure secondary characters.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Let's see. What will be the next portable system from Nintendo? And don't say the Switch. I already. If you listened earlier in the podcast, I said that I think Nintendo is going to come out with a handheld that's gonna take the place of the 3DS, and it's not the Switch. I think it's going to be backwards compatible with the 3DS because, I mean, they've sold like 81 million 3DSs at this point, and you don't want to leave behind. Like, if they can get like 25% of those people who have 3DSs to come back and pick up their next handheld, they already have a huge jump over, whatever. So, that's like 20 million people right there. So yeah, that's it. Anything you guys want to talk about before we wrap things up?
Nothing at this end, really.
Let's see, okay, up.
So
Nintendo just released a new Labo kit for the vehicles,
and I do not care. Labo is I'm one of those people who thinks Labo is a big fucking ripoff. What would you call it? I would call it the VDS. I think they need to give away the dual screen. I think that their next handheld needs to be it needs to be a device that has a big enough screen that you can play 3DS games or DS games, but I think they need to, like, the dual screens run its course. So the next handheld needs to be something different. I
just noticed Reggie makes a cameo appearance in a Seattle Police Department lip sync challenge.
Well, he lives in Seattle, so it makes sense. Let's see, what else? What would I call a Pokemon Gen 8 launch title?
I mean, like, kind of like X, Y, Sun and Moon.
I'm gonna keep it real. I wouldn't do, like, if I was gonna do a Pokemon Gen 8 launch title, I would not do I would call it Pokemon let's see. We've had Jules, we've had Black and White, we have Sun, we had Moon. We had X and Y. I would call it Pokemon.
Rainbow?
No, that's too easy. I would do Pokemon Generations. That's what it's called, Pokemon Generation. And the big thing about this game is that basically
all regions are available. I know.
All regions are available, and you can choose a starter from any of those regions or from the new region that's in the game. So it's your choice. So I think that would be a cool little thing to do. Do you wish to see Miiverse come back? Yeah, I would like to see Miiverse come back.
Nope.
That'd be cool.
Nope. That spawned a lot of cringeworthy posts like White Cat Metroid Crawl or the guy obsessed with water.
I gotta disagree with you. I actually am a fan of Miiverse. I thought Miiverse was a really nice thing. It was Nintendo Gamers' own little network that kept people from doing crazy shit. So no vulgar material or anything like that. It was pretty nice. I liked it. I would love for it to return.
But have you seen any of those cringeworthy posts, like how they're?
Yeah, but here's the thing: the cringeworthy posts weren't offensive. It was just weird. But it wasn't like, oh my god, this person called me the N-word or anything like that. It's not. Look, Miiverse was head and shoulders above what you would get on
I mean, there have been Tumblr pages, Twitter pages, and YouTube videos dedicated to these cringe posts.
Yeah, but it was still better than what you got in the community of the Xbox One or PS4, and it was perfect for just talking to people. I mean, like I said, Miiverse was awesome. Will it ever really come back? Probably not, just because Nintendo it's much easier for them to charge you $19.99 a year, and you do this bullshit. But I mean, I'm just saying, it was an interesting experience, and I wish that they had something similar to it now. There's cringeworthy posts on everything. I mean, you can't stifle something because people say stupid shit. Because I mean, if you got rid of every medium that had people saying stupid shit, all medium would go away. Books, media, news, everything. So you can't do that. And Splatoon was less harmless than most. Hell, I mean, and if you're gonna get rid of something because people say stupid shit, then that means Video Game Facts has to go, because there are people say stupid shit on there too. So, you can't get rid of stuff just because people say off the wall shit sometimes, because that's life. People are gonna say stupid shit sometimes. You just got to deal with it and keep it moving, or not. Your choice. What else? No other questions. Okay, we're gonna wrap things up. Pimp out your stuff, folks.
This is Piggy Dog from Video Game Facts. As I said before, next week is going to be my birthday on August 1st, so I'm not sure if there's going to be some kind of podcast dedicated to it.
Yeah, I did one for Jewel, so I'll do one for you.
Sure.
So August 1st. Oh, that's also when Yakuza comes out. So that's perfect. We can have a dual podcast. Jewel, Junior.
I think she's asleep again.
Over it. Well, this is Mr. Red Fox here. We've been talking lots and lots of news, stuff like that. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe to the BS Busters podcast. We're glad you could join us. And with that being said, that's the end of the podcast. So, peace.